What is going on, everybody? And welcome to another Those Guys You Hate mini-sesh. Tyler, my brother, the other Menendez. How you doing this week, brother?
I am okay, Ryan. How you doing?
I am doing just fine. That's not true. I'm struggling in almost every facet of my life, but we're here.
Look at you telling the truth.
It felt weird. I was just kidding. I'm on top of the world. I feel like $1 million.
Our audience expects you to lie to them and tell them how everything's going to be okay.
You guys look great. I don't know why I'm lashing out so early in the episode. I usually keep that for after intermission. Today, Tyler.
At least you're putting people's guard up.
Yeah.
Which is what we want.
We want to start you off in the right position.
That's right.
And this one, you can actually let your guard down.
Reverse cowgirl.
And the reason why is because we're talking about good stuff, Tyler. I am going to finish off my little suite of the time that the universe and I held hands and we chuckled. Do you remember last week I told the story of me and the youths dancing in the car together after a tense situation?
Correct.
Something that I will live with forever. I have two quick little stories of something along those lines. So what I mean is it's me joking around with the universe. It's me experiencing joy with strangers. It's just one of those little wink and nods from something bigger than me that just makes me feel good about humanity. Does that? I want to make sure I'm explaining it right.
Yeah, it's a feel-good story. Usually you come in here and we'll tell a story about how it makes one of us look bad and we're always doing something wacky or zany or even stupid. This one you were leading up to telling the audience it's going to make you feel good as you walk away from it.
Well, at least it made me feel good.
And that's all that matters, right?
You know, I am obsessed, some may say unhinged, when it comes to seeing numbers now. I dated a woman not that long ago and she was into the angel numbers, okay? And now, I've never been a numbers guy, but it has now turned into this weird situation with me.
And for those who may be uninitiated, angel numbers are patterns of numbers that show up in a row. 111, 222, so on and so forth.
1111 on the clock. And what that means, as I can hear you guys all collectively roll your eyes at your AM radio.
Am I doing it that loudly?
Yes.
I'm so sorry.
You got to get that checked out. Your pupils are way too raised.
Why does it creak when I move?
It sounds like you're flipping through a book. So it's almost like this idea that the universe or something bigger than you is using this pattern and it's using this code to say, hey, you're on the right track. You're doing a good job. Because so many of us are telling ourselves we're not doing a good job. We're not on the right track. So that has kind of turned into something for me. These stories that I'm telling you is a different idea, but in that same vein, where it is like, man, life is really beautiful if you just pay attention. In these really weird situations, here I am with somebody that I've never met, just feeling really good. So I'll give you two very quickly. Now, this one, it's not as much that where I'm feeling really good, but it's where I'm looking at a stranger and it's almost as if we've known each other forever. This one's a little bit more abstract. I don't know if I've ever mentioned it on this show, but growing up, especially in the romance department, I was a rat bastard. Have I ever mentioned that on this show?
Once or twice.
And I guess that all dates back to my own insecurity, my own look for being accepted. What I think a lot of people don't understand is cheaters, where it feels like a weapon, it's really a shield. It's to protect yourself. You don't feel enough love coming from this one person, so you go looking for another person. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Insecurity is what leads people down those roads.
Well, you go looking for the love that you can't feel by yourself.
Sure. And generally speaking, if you can't feel it on your own, one person, two people, all the people aren't going to make you feel it.
No one is going to make you.
Correct. So I have just screwed a woman over, okay, and in varying degrees. I don't remember what it was. So we met at a restaurant to hash it out. I mean, we had gone back and forth a million times. You ever been in a relationship like that where you just should have broken up the first time, but you just go like a salmon swimming upstream? You got to get back to where you don't want to be.
This is your feel-good story, bringing me down old negative memories, huh?
Well,
the answer is yes, Ryan. The answer is yes.
I remember. Wasn't that so funny, Tyler? Oh, God.
Hilarious.
You just don't get it, do you?
Oh, it was two toxic substances that are both equally deadly, but don't mix. Just being together all
just
the
clashing.
Time. Yeah.
And is this just my own perspective? I feel like that the world is just replete with that nowadays. Am I just seeing the world through my own view? And if you think that, you know, that everybody's life is the way that yours has been leading up to now,
I think the image is falling away. I think the haze is falling away in that our parents' generation, that was the goal. It was get married, have kids, have the little white picket fence house. And marriage, even during their time, was the minority. It's been the minority for a long time. There are more divorced people than there are married people. So I just think that as I said, the haze is falling, and people are starting to realize that it wasn't as hunky-dory as people made it out to seem.
And I believe, and I don't have the statistics here in front of me, that 60% of those men in those relationships were actually gay, Tyler. Is that true? Back in the 50s? 60% of married men? Gay, Tyler. Look it up.
While I love that stat,
Look it up,
the
Tyler.
number seems a little high, Ryan.
55%. Can I get you to do 55?
I'm getting closer to agreeing with you.
60%. I'm back. Power move.
You don't know how to negotiate.
All right, fine. Now I'm gay. 61. So I'm at this restaurant. We're hashing it out. The problem is that we're never going to meet in the middle. We can't figure out how to coexist because I'm deeply insecure and I'm doing the wrong things. And she has whatever is going on inside of her that makes her attracted to somebody who is deeply insecure and dealing with all of those kind of things.
Well, it's selfish dealing with selfish. It's two selfish people just constantly churning that selfishness back in on each other.
And your selfishness presents itself in different ways because with her, she just wanted what she wanted, which was me. And she was willing to go through anything, even if and her life sucked, you know?
And enabling. We will enable those that we love just so we don't upset them and drive them away.
I got some people in my life like that right now. So we're there. Wow. We're hashing it out. This is my own little tiny story here as a aperitif, if you will. She is upset. We've had a couple of drinks in the middle of the day. She gets up. She walks out. She's crying there in front of the whole restaurant.
So it's going well, you say?
Quite well.
Yeah.
This is actually the calmest any of our interactions have been in months. So
she got too excited, everybody. Okay, she's going outside to empty some of those excitement tears, and then she's coming back in here to have a good time.
Those are tears of joy.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry,
you just wait till I dismount a little. You got excited?
I did. You were just nailing it. I wanted to be part of it. So
I should have let you in. I'm sorry.
As she walks out, she walks past, I would say, a 10 top, 10 people, a family, a black family. Or do I say African-American?
No, you sound like an idiot when you say African-American. Just say black.
Okay, a black family. Thank you very much. And as it should be, I would believe the grandmother is seated at the head of the table. What seemed to be the matriarch.
Good for them.
Perhaps it was her birthday. I'm not certain, but she was, let's call it the foot of the table because she is looking back at me. Okay. So as she storms out, I am already got a little buzz going on. So I stay there calmly. I let her kind of go. I pay the tab. I get up. And so I am maybe, I don't know, 10, 15 feet behind her. And as I'm walking out, the matriarch of the family looks at me and we lock eyes as if this is one of my family members who just understands. She looks at me and kind of squints her eyes a little bit with a smile on her face. And she just shakes her head. For the people who are listening, you can't see me do this. She just shakes her head like a coy kind of, what did you do here smile?
It's a slow shake to let her know that she wants you to see every last inch of that motion back and forth.
But it was playful. It wasn't judgmental like, you piece of shit. You obviously heard her. It was just like, you little rapscallion.
You dog.
You little rapscallion. And we both started laughing. I don't think that it was at this woman's expense.
Position. That's a weird position.
We just exploded in laughter. None of her family saw what was going on. The woman that I was with didn't see what was going on.
Thank God.
And I walked out of there just thinking like, what an insane moment I just had.
Sure. You didn't walk out of there laughing, did you? You weren't carrying the laughter with
Pointing
you.
and. I was a bit behind her. So she never picked up on any of this, but it was the moment that I had with her would be almost like the moment that you think you would have with your own grandmother, where she would be like, I love you, but come on, man. Yeah. What are you doing?
Sure.
That was the vibe. And I kind of shrugged. I was like, I'm so sorry. Like as if I was apologizing to the matriarch of this black family I've never met.
There she is having a lovely, I assume, birthday dinner. And you had to ruin her day by turning on the waterworks.
It was, for whatever reason, in a terrible situation, it left me feeling like, man, people are great. So I left that. Here is my final one that I could think of.
I guess that was a silver lining story. I mean, it was a weird setup, very kind of negative energy, bad environment setup, but the payoff was silver lining-ish.
It was a bad story to some degree, but the point of the story is that this woman and I had a connection. If we just went on here and talked about every fight I've ever had with anybody, I mean, well, we would have some content.
Plenty of content, Ryan.
Kings. So here's the last one. And this one is also very minute, but damn does it show humanity and really the juxtaposition of how people think. So I am living at mom's house at the time. I'm in my early 30s. I ended up at mom's house from another huge cheating scandal. And you know how that goes.
So you would say the
boy
cheating
meets girl.
The cheating
Boy cheats on girl.
You would say the cheating did not work out for you.
Boy moves into mom's house. No. Well, it worked out in my favor just in terms of getting to know who I was and who I didn't want to be. So it worked out.
So the cheating was bad, Ryan.
The cheating was
cheating
good.
was bad. All right. How hard is it to say Nazis bad, cheating bad?
I feel like I implied it, Tyler. I don't know what you want me to imply.
They're very easy things to say.
Not going to do it. So I am out on a run. When I'm sad, I, for whatever reason, really exercise is my go-to. I don't know. Just get those chemicals. It keeps my brain off of it, whatever the deal is.
We get it. You lift, bro.
Thank you. I lift bros all the time. So I am out for a run. I've never been much of a runner. I don't enjoy it. It seems to me like torture. I don't know why anybody would pretend like they like it. Now, I understand why you would do it, but I don't know why you'd pretend like you like it. We all know you're lying.
It sucks. I do it as often as I can. I try to do it every day. I don't like it.
I don't like it either. Cardio's just not my jam. Unless it's Bacardio, which I'm also not into.
That sounds like a cereal, limited time cereal that was made by Bacardi.
It's just
Bacardios.
Orange flavored Bacardi. Is that still a thing? It used to be all over the place. It's like Bacardi Limon.
Oh, I've never heard of Bacardio.
Sure. So, and what about Bacardi B? I'll move on. So I'm out for a run. Now, as I come up, I am running up, and of course I'm down this big, long, straight street. I could see them from a very far distance. Two youths, okay? Now, when you're in your early 30s, anybody in their late teens, early 20s, they're just a punk-ass kid. Do you understand how that goes, Tyler?
I think a lot of people over the age of 30s and even 40s would agree with you.
Yeah.
I think the older generations see the younger generations as punk-ass kids.
Always have for some reason.
And the older that you get, the bigger that scale becomes in which you're allowed to judge those people.
Sure. Well, as you get older, everybody else just becomes younger and younger, right? The population just gets more and more young.
Can't we just become more self-aware as people and stop judging those that come after us? Is that a fucking possibility?
My hatred has nothing to do with me. It has to do with these two kids, Tyler. And here's
who
why.
I've never met before.
Who I've never met, but just look at them. Look at them. No, but you know what I mean. And especially I was dealing with such insecurity, which landed me at my mom's house. And you're suspicious of people. I think a lot of people who are going through what you and I discuss all the time, you see the world through a dark prism. You see the world as, how is this going to fuck me over? Every situation you go into, like, well, look at these two assholes. You know what I mean?
Well, I think it's a lot easier to be in that position. I don't want to be absolute. I'm sure there's plenty of 30-year-olds that don't think like that.
Sure.
I think that's just through our prism, but I totally understand what you're saying.
And maybe it's just the people that I run into, but I feel like that is replete out there. Not that the other side doesn't exist. I just think when you meet somebody who is relentlessly positive, it stands out. And I think there's a reason. Do you remember, you and I just came back from a trip, that blonde woman who worked at Dunkin' Donuts the first time we went in there?
I do. She was there the second time we went in there.
But not helping.
Not helping. Well, she was doing her own thing.
Not helping. So she was relentlessly positive in a way that genuinely stuck out to me. I feel like I don't run into those kind of people all the time. And I used to be quite the opposite of that.
I guess it depends on the culture of where you live.
Sure.
I think Miami, which is where we live, can run a little bit more selfish and rude, as it were. But I also think it depends on where you go.
Sure.
If you're just out in the wild and, run into somebody in, Navarro, our Spanish Walgreens, you're going to have a better time of running into somebody who's selfish than if you go somewhere like something that calls to you, like a church or a get together of sorts.
That makes sense. And it depends upon who you surround yourself with. Now, at this time, I was not surrounding myself with the right people, including myself. So I am running down the street and these two guys are out on the street and they're throwing one of those Nerf footballs with the tail.
Love it.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
It was like a missile.
It is like a missile. It was just made, everybody's Peyton Manning with one of those things. I mean, and it makes that noise, you know what I'm talking about?
As if you're playing a video game.
Absolutely.
It puts the sound effects right there.
Absolutely.
In there for you.
Or like a rocket is taking off out of my shirt sleeve. It's just badass. It's just launched.
Well, it just does devolve into who can throw it further.
Of course.
Or furthest, excuse me.
And it's me. So as I'm running by, I don't know why I did this, but I shut my headphones off. I heard them talking and whatever. And
sneaky. Every
single word that was coming out of their mouth was F this, F that fucking thing and that
Sure.
blah, 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 blah.
Sure.
And I immediately formed an opinion. I'm like, look
Mhm.
at these jerks, bro. This is like what's wrong with kids. You know, I did the whole old person thing.
This is what's wrong with our youth
These days. And I
Yeah.
did this whole thing in my mind as I was describing, and I'm running by.
And may I just say, I've been on both sides of that.
Me too.
Anecdotally, I have been the person saying fuck every other word, and I've been the person judging the person who says fuck every word.
And I'm glad you said that because I don't have the cleanest mouth. Go back and listen to the last 150 of these. I drop some bombs every now and then.
Well, all the time, we both do. We say the F word plenty.
Fucking right, Tyler. So that was so sad.
That was nice, though. You nailed it.
Thank you.
You nailed it.
Well, then let's cut this out. I want to seem confident. So as I'm running by, and I don't know why this happened, and this is in the middle of my spiritual
Awakening.
explosion.
Mhm.
And this is for the first time in my life, I'm aware of myself. I put my music back on. I pass the first guy. He has his back to me because he's throwing back and forth with the other guy. I pass the other guy. I just keep running. I am also on a runner's high because I haven't been running a bunch, and I'm running pretty far this time. So you know what I mean when you're just like, I'm not even trying right now. My body is just floating along here. As
Mine always seems like it's struggling for air at
Really?
every second when I'm moving my body.
I just keep on pushing, Tyler. You're going to get it. As I'm passing the second youth, for whatever reason, I've turned my music back on. I've just decided these two kids are assholes. These little cursors are fucking assholes. You know what I mean? As I pass this last kid, he looks me in my eye. I look him in his eye, and I got my nasty face on. I've already judged you, bro. What are you looking at? You know what I mean? And he looks at me and he holds the football up. Here's the thing. I'll judge you and I'll think you're a jerk. I want everybody to like me, man. It's just one of my deepest and saddest characteristics. I want everybody to like me. And in that moment, I'm like, oh shit. So I say, yes. Go ahead, Tyler.
Well, I think that it's not the judgment that's the problem. This is the difference between these two things, where it's not having the judgment. It's how do you treat somebody even though you've had the judgment. If you're being a jerk to somebody just because of that judgment, that is wrong. But just having the judgment, but still approaching them with respect, that is the show of an adult, of a mature person.
And that's the awareness that I wasn't even close to at that point. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, but with all of that being said, he held the football up and just
Like offering it to you?
hey,
You want to throw it?
You ready?
Mm.
Tyler, without ever breaking stride, I said yes. I kept running past the second one. He bombed it to me in the perfect position, caught it right over my shoulder, spun around. Now I'm running backwards. I throw it back, hits him right in stride. We're all now laughing our asses off.
Mm-hmm.
I spin back around without ever speaking a word. Never saw those kids again and immediately burst into tears.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I can feel it right now. Burst
Yeah.
into tears streaming down my face
How nice.
of just this moment of realization of what a dick. Okay, let me rephrase
That guy? What a dick.
What a dick, bro. He had a chooch.
How-
That guy put it right in my bread box.
Let's say cannon. He had a cannon.
I'm gonna lick that guy's chooch. And it was one of those moments that I think if you allow yourself, wake you up from the matrix. That like, dude, I judge these two kids based off of my own insecurities
Mhm.
for doing things that I do all the time. And that was a beautiful moment. And life, if you allow it, is beautiful. And I don't know if that speaks to anybody, but man, I'll remember that for the rest of my life. It really was something that just made me feel great. And I think kept pushing me down the road that I am now on.
Would you say it was an epiphany of sorts?
I wouldn't say an epiphany because I already had the information in there. It was just a nod from the universe of, hey, wake up. Wake up. Life is beautiful. You see it through this dark, ugly, prism, and you're in charge of that prism. What if the world is conspiring for your good? What if all these things that are really bad right now, what if this thing that's going on with your money, listen to the pregame and you'll get that reference 30 seconds after the show, is to wake you up from something? What if this is a slap across the face to show you, dude, you are so lucky to be here breathing right now. You know what I mean?
What you are describing is an epiphany. That is, it doesn't necessarily mean you first gain the information. It's just that when you hear that information for the umpteenth time, that's right, I said it again, it clicks in your brain and hits you.
Sure. Well, then that's fine. And I'm willing for it to be any of those things. I didn't think of it as, when I think of an epiphany, it's like as all of a sudden the scales are drawn from your eyes and now you see the world differently. I already had that information, but it was just something that just keeps showing me as time goes on.
I get it.
Just like the 11-11. I'll tell you this, and this is my last kook story here.
A good gauge, if you will.
We were just on vacation that coincided with my 40th birthday, so we called it my 40th birthday trip. August 5th, 11:59. I kept looking at my watch, kept looking at my watch. Not only because I wanted to see when I was 40, but also because we had been drinking all day and I just wanted it to be midnight because I was exhausted. Let's say happy birthday. Let's all go to bed. I'm drunk and tired.
Was that the night with the pinata?
No, it was the night.
Man.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Tyler starts drinking too early.
I do. It's a leftover from who I was before, where it's a safety net for me. And I think if I start drinking now, I'll feel better. I do not.
Well, let's save this for the show because I actually want to talk about this. I'm interested in it.
I just didn't want to leave the audience in the dark and have them not know what we're referencing.
Tune in to a thrown together show this weekend and we will discuss it because I'm actually interested in this.
Yeah, sure.
But the clock turns midnight and I didn't even notice. And somebody goes, Nicole says, "Hey, baby, happy birthday. You're 40," like immediately. So I look at my watch because I, want to see that it's now past midnight and I'm running my watch because I'm always running my watch because I'm a crazy person. My total calories that I had burned at that exact moment, 1,111. And it's just those little things where it's like, dude, what are the chances of that happening? And I know I sound like a nut, but
one out of 1,111, I would imagine.
I believe, well, there are numbers past 1,100.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it stopped there.
Do not look into infinity because you'll never be able to afford it. They're nice cars. So the fact of the matter is, dude, why don't we try filtering through the idea of, hey, this bad thing that is happening right now, it's because something good is going to happen. It's not, oh, I'm cursed. Oh, I fuck everything up. Oh, man, I'm the worst. It is like, hey, something really good is going to happen to me today. And I believe that.
And to answer your question, even though it may have been figurative, is because why do we think that way? Because we've trained ourselves over our lives to think that way. And getting to the other side of that, thinking positively, is just training. Just like training your body at the gym, you got to train your mind.
And that's the deal. You've already trained your mind. It's just gone in that other direction. Correct. These are just thought patterns. And that is why I think noticing these things is so important, because we got to bring it back the other way. The evidence on the other side is there. You just got to look for it.
Yeah, and it's very easy to become blinded to it. When all you've known is negativity for such a long time, whether it was placed on you as a child or you have attracted it to yourself as an adult, it's each of our own responsibilities to take that step and start thinking more positively. And it's a challenge, guys. Don't take this as me just saying, bro, just fucking do it. It is a challenge.
Agreed. And please reach out to us and let us know if any of these idiosyncrasies that have shown through. I think those would be great stories to hear. People's like, hey, the universe gave me a little wink and a nod when this happened. And
for sure.
How would they reach out to us and let us know that, Tyler?
Text Ryan at his personal phone number, 555.
That's not my phone number.
Not a real number.
754.
Thank God. Just give the area code and let's call it a day.
Too real.
Go to thoseguysyouhate.com and send us a message or subscribe. All the buttons are right there. Easily clickable for all of you. And thank you, each and every one of you, for the support you give to us.
We love you guys. And thank you to you, Tyler. Thank you to the universe.
Thank you.
We are those guys you hate.
Be kind or we'll kill you. Perfect. All right, now for real, red circle.
Red
circle.
Hot pockets. Hot pockets. What's up, Tyler?
Not much, man.
How are you? I asked you how you were, and you were like, I am I'll use it on the show.
Yeah.
We're now bartering with our own feelings.
Yeah. For some reason, and we've done this before.
This is what we become, Tyler.
Well, it's just easier for me to talk about things with a microphone in front of my face. And I don't say that to the audience. I don't say that as shtick or as it just, there's something about sitting in front of this microphone that really helps me open up.
Well, and it really stops me from being able to react in the way that I would like to, being on camera
It is my safety
and
net.
audio. Like, these people aren't going to be here forever, Tyler. We're going to have to deal with one another.
I have this uploaded to a secure location just in case anything happens to me. All the video evidence is there to find.
I've mailed this to a friend, and if they don't hear from me in 3 days.
I'm in one of the weirdest places I've ever been in my entire life, because I have never felt better while equally being in one of the most stressful situations of my life, of my adult life.
What is the stressful situation?
I have never been this poor.
Oh, wow.
I am literally living. I'll even be honest with the audience. I asked my mother recently for $100. Mommy asked Mama Menendez for $100, and that has been my food for the week. Like, without that money, I have. Oh, you know what? I'll even go a step further. My bill for my cell phone came in today, and I didn't have the money, so I spent the first 45 minutes after waking up rolling quarters into rolls so I could pay my cell phone bill. Because they don't even give you a warning. They just shut that shit off.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, they definitely give you a warning.
No. Once it reaches the day after your 30 days that you paid for, there is no, hey, pay the bill. It's just your service is over.
What service is that?
Verizon.
Oh, yeah. Mine doesn't do that.
Oh, yes. No warning.
I don't wait until the third time. They're like, yo, shit is real. And I'm like, stop texting me.
Who is this?
Unsubscribe. Wow. And that is go ahead.
Sorry.
You're good. You handled that perfectly. That is very stressful. Money problems stay with you. There's certain things that go to bed with you and wake up with you. Money is up there.
For sure. And I should openly admit on the front end of this conversation, or should I say at the end, I've been in a very, very, very fortunate position in my life where my family never had to worry about money. So I don't come from a place like,
because you're white.
People. Well, I'm pretty sure there are rich minorities, Ryan.
They're the minority of rich people.
Well,
Tyler.
yeah, that is true.
You don't recall back when we were growing up in Hollywood, we were not well off. Our parents, always kept us comfortable and all that stuff. We were white trash-ish. White trash adjacent.
My favorite example is a couple houses down. There was a person who had carpet in their
driveway.
house,
the guy next to us.
Oh, was it right next door?
Not carpeted driveway, but like that really old school fake grass kind of carpet, like the outdoor carpet.
Sure.
Everybody from the 80s knows exactly what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the fake turf that is incredible now. I'm talking about it just looks like
it's the stuff that Beetlejuice, Michael Keaton, would come out of the ground of, and it was the fakest shit you'd ever seen.
Exactly right.
Yes.
There is no chance that's organic. And he had just 2 strips of it going up his driveway for the car tires, which is not just white trash. It doesn't make any sense. It feels to me like something that would get much dirtier than the driveway.
Called a driveway, bro. Yeah. You're supposed to drive on the way.
But yet we drive on a parkway. I don't get it. Now, how are you dealing with this mentally? I find this to be interesting. Is there something I could do? I mean, I could help you out, buddy.
No. I mean, unless you want to help me murder somebody who's carrying a shitload of cash on them, and then we just take it.
Name this person.
But then I would just be your next victim, and you keep it all for yourself. So it would
be like the beginning of Dark Knight Rises. You turn around, and I would just have a gun pointed at your face. Yeah, the boss told me that too. What a great!
I don't know why you immediately went gravelly Italian voice.
Pasta vazul. What a great way to draw somebody into a movie.
For sure.
For me, upper echelon of starting off a movie where I'm like, I got to see how this plays out.
For sure. So back to my incredibly traumatic experience at the moment.
What were you saying, Bruce? So what do you do?
Well, I'm in a very, very weird place. So simply why I won't get into the logistics or the too much of the details.
You already said you rolled quarters. Logistics already been spoken.
Oh, no, not that. I'm happy to acknowledge all of that. I just mean that I work for commission on our separate job that you guys will never know about.
We don't talk about that.
But I work purely off of commission. And the way that it is structured is that I am paid a certain amount. And then depending on how my sales are, I get paid whatever is left over at the end of the year.
We don't talk about that.
Yes, but we are coming up on that.
I have thought of that myself.
And so the money that is owed to me for the sales that I've put forth this previous year will more than cover almost all of my issues. So until that happens,
I like that you said almost.
Almost all of them, not all of them, but
repair my relationship with my dad, paycheck.
I don't think the money's going to cover that.
Well, then I quit. What the fuck am I doing here?
So I am just now in this limbo where while I'm in said limbo, I am in a very stressful position.
There's a light at the end of the tunnel.
But there is a light at the end of the tunnel. So I'm using this as a learning experience while also acknowledging it is really fucking stressful.
I was wondering why you were eating those sticks yesterday when I got home. It was weird. Yes, I was in this situation. I had quite a spiritual experience, as I do with everything, because I'm going crazy. I had quite a spiritual experience with this. I am a money hoarder. I like to hide money from myself in various places where
on you?
Yeah. Check each nook and cranny. I'm like one of those scratch off trees that mom gives us for Christmas.
That's right. It's just the reference is our mom gives us a little plastic tree, and attached to each basically leaf of that tree is one of those little scratch offs. It's fun.
And what those Christmas trees are made out of? The stuff that was on that guy's driveway.
Totally fair.
Am I right?
Totally fair.
Wow. This is a show just for us. So I hide things from myself. I bartended for a long time. I'm still bartending. I've kept it as an ancillary job. You worked with me for a little bit.
I did.
Had you stayed, you'd have money. And
I'd probably still be an alcoholic though.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's fun, Tyler. Come back. We miss you. It was just us two. So now it's just getting weird. So I kept, I mean, I'll kind of congeal this into one brief story, but for me, it really had big time meaning. I saved all my singles from last time that I bartended. I put all these little caches of money. I never cashed in my paychecks, all that stuff. And I cashed in I had about $3,000 in singles, and I was going to the bank and bringing them in. You can't put that into the ATM. 70 at a time. You're going to be there for a bit, my friend.
You start to draw attention.
Sure. So I on my very last cash in where I don't know how I'm going to pay my rent next month. Yeah. What about rent? Well, you'll be paid again by then.
Thankfully, I will be paid right before rent hits, and I will be able to make that no problem.
Well, that's when work started paying me again. And it was like I was down to my bottom dollar, as one orphan with no pupils would say. And
why doesn't the little orphan have pupils?
You know little orphan Annie?
She didn't have pupils?
Not in the.
She was a redhead.
Not in the original cartoon. Famously, no pupils.
We can review. That sounds dark as shit. Why do you think she was orphaned? Probably because she can't see.
She's the children of the corn. She just dyed her hair. Well, anyway, I know that this doesn't help out at all or any of that stuff, but I got you, bro. I mean, listen, I'm not swimming in cash either. I'm still waiting on that big payday myself.
Sure.
But I got you. If you need anything, we've taken care of each other. I don't want you to suffer through that at all, man. I got you. You can pay me back or whatever the deal is. You let me know, man.
I appreciate it. I just find myself in this very unique position to learn a lesson that I never learned before. And it's also the struggle of asking for help, which, as you know, is fucking difficult for me.
Even for both of us. And we've now lived together for a long time, and we struggle. I just asked you to take me 15 minutes away tomorrow to the airport, and it like hurt me. So, well,
so true.
Please let us know how this goes as the trials continue.
Will do.
Here we go. Don't you dare ask me for a fucking dollar. Okay.